All right. And we are live.
Are we?
Yeah.
There-
So let's just wait for some people to join to get the message. Man sieht deinen Namen. I can see your
Oh,
name.
no worries.
No.
That's not me. I have a different account.
Okay, so we got Mr. Dubai. Hello, Mr. Dubai. So let's just wait for another minute or so for more people to join before we start the show.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's okay. Let's just start. All right, so welcome everyone to the Goldline Show. It's 8 o'clock. Just like I said, today's show is today instead of Saturday at 7 p.m. We had to move the show to Sunday, 8 p.m. Central European time. But I see many of you are joining, so welcome everyone. We got a guest here today. He was on the show before, multiple times. Neo Retro is his name. And I have him on speaker. Do you want to say
Hope you
hi?
guys hear me well. Hey, I'm New Retro, and I've been here for a long time, always watching. So I'm happy to join and talk about the articles today and its general questions. I'm also going to keep an eye out on comments and gonna try to point out some stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So we still everyone is invited from the line hangout. There was a El Nino wanted to join as well today, but maybe he will join a little later. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so before we start the show, we can't start the show without talking about the sponsors. So today's sponsors. So the first sponsor, of course, is you guys from the Discord server, from the Line community, Neo Retro. You guys are my sponsors. Thank you for reading my newsletter and making all this possible. I'm working with very little margin, and however, the Discord community is growing slowly, but it's growing. I really thank you for that. So you can join the Discord server too. You can join the show. We can have private conversation. You can read my newsletter all on Discord. The link is in my bio. Also, my books. So, of course, my first book, A Guide to Almost Foolproof Investing, which is available on Amazon Kindle. And my latest book, which I released this summer, which is called Awakening, which is basically the continuation of the first book, also available on Amazon Kindle and as paperback and also hard copy. So check him out. Super interesting. If you have questions about the book, please let me know. Neo Retro read it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
he read it. There you go. So many of you did. Yeah.
I have the hard copy of Awakening. It's. I would suggest you get the hard copy, just so you can put it, somewhere. Oh, there's a question. Someone says, "What is some peeps can't read?" I think he's asking if someone can't read. Like, if there's another option?
Yeah, so people ask me if I will do an audiobook, like is it available as audiobook? And I don't know, I didn't even think about it, but many people are asking me. I got a lot of requests, or is it available as audiobook. I don't know. I don't know if I will make it available as an audiobook, if that's what you mean. Audiobooks are great. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Some of you might like to, like myself, I like to listen to podcasts. I like to listen to people talk that I'm interested to hear what they have to say in the background. So while I'm driving or while I'm working on something else, I really like to listen. So I'm actually with you. Let me think about it. I didn't make a decision about that. But yeah,
I
basically, yeah.
like the thing with me, with audiobooks. that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I learn more when I read. So
Yeah.
and take notes. So probably if I have an audiobook, I would probably take notes and then try some sort of active recall. So if I really want to learn the information, right? But yeah, but if we just want to have something to listen to, I guess audiobook is good. But I'm not sure if that's like a good way to really retain the information, right?
Like now it comes to my mind. Is it even a good idea if can I even turn my book into an audiobook? I don't think so. Because my book, I have lots of graphs. I have case studies. I have
Yeah.
psychology tests inside my book. How do I do that as an audiobook? You know, it's a bit difficult.
Oh, so he says, of course, reading a book is wonderful, but some just can't. Of course, yes, you're correct. Some people don't have, yeah,
And some just
100%.
can't. Yeah.
Yeah, and it could be any of us one day, right? So we need to be cognizant of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only goes up in this time of year, says Biscopan.
Yeah. So let me we didn't get through the first article yet. So, but I showed my sponsors. This is not a sponsor, but we got Mr. Smokey here again, as usual, and a new little painting. It was done today.
Oh, you made
by my wife, by my lovely wife. She made this today, so I wanted to show you guys too. She's saying,
wow.
on the background.
Does she have like?
Huh?
There's some cigar packaging on there, isn't there?
No, it's just stickers. It's a collage of things. It's a collage. So.
No, but on the top left, isn't that from a cigar?
Yeah, those are cigar stickers. Yeah. Yes, you're right. Yeah. So those are the sponsors. So I'm going to read some of your questions first before we get to the first article. And then between each article, I mean, there's just 2 today, it's not much. I'm going to stop, read your questions, answer them, try my best to answer them as best as possible. And we move on to the next article, okay? So, thank you for the likes, whoever that was. All right, let's see. So we got people joining.
Some confetti.
Yeah, retro. Thank you. What do you think will happen to the stock market heading towards Christmas? Okay, so look, I can't predict anything. I just don't know. I don't know. So like you have to, what you have to understand is GDP numbers are up, the economy is doing well. And I told you guys since beginning of the year, like, oh, recession is imminent, Q1, 2000, for entirety of 2023. I even wrote it in my book. I told you why there is not going to be a recession. Okay? I told you why. Okay? But many of you just don't understand, I think, what I'm talking about. Okay? So we should already be in a recession. It depends on what you define as such. The recession, before it could happen, okay, was already prevented. We should be entering a recession, probably a depression, when the banks started to fail this year. With Signature Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, all these banks failing. But what happened? Unlike 2008, when they waited for, I think, months before deciding for bailing out the banks, they started bailing out the banks immediately, the same day. So now all the entire financial system basically in the US is on life support with printed money by the Fed. So they propped up that. They're propping up the GDP number also through that. So that's why GDP looks good on paper. So the economy looks good on paper. So they could pull the trigger anytime to do so. So about the stock market, so you see tech stocks, oh Goldie, why are you talking about commodities? Look at these tech stocks, look at Bitcoin going up, like all these, like high interest rates and high inflation is not a good environment for speculation. It's not a good environment to borrow money and do business. It's getting harder for business. And all these tech companies, you have to understand that their evaluations are at all-time highs, while they are not making profits. All right? They're just bubbling up. Oh, look, a new ETF is coming. Well, BlackRock is issuing a new Bitcoin ETF. And then you have a rally. Oh, AI, ChatGPT is going to replace all these jobs. Oh. And then you have an AI bubble. All right? So the stock market is propped up. Commodity markets are manipulated to hell. We're going to talk about this when you get to the first article. And everything is just effed. Also, I hear people talking about a recession next year, 2024, beginning of 2024. So there was never a recession under a Democrat. And next year is an election year. Biden still has an entire year of SPR oil he can dump. Do you think they will allow a recession? Like, they didn't allow a recession this year. Do you think they're going to allow a recession, stock market crash, maybe stock market crash during an election year? Think about it. So technically, yes, we are in a recession. You could argue, yes, the US is in a recession. On paper, not. But there's some more factors that are hiding the actual facts on the ground. Okay?
And there's like always my concern is, so they manipulate the inflation numbers, right? They took out energy, they took out certain food prices from the inflation numbers, so they're not very accurate. But then the GDP numbers going up. Normally you would subtract inflation from the GDP numbers. So how much GDP is actually up is not actually known, right? We would have to have accurate inflation numbers to determine what the actual GDP growth numbers are. And that is kind of like my concern. Like, we might already be in this recession because every quarter might be down, but we wouldn't know because inflation numbers are manipulated, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. There's many factors. There's a giant smoke screen in front of the actual facts on the ground. And Anyway, so let's get to the next question here. So it's from Sasquatch. For some people with bad eyes, reading issue audiobooks can be a godsend.
Oh,
that's the one from before. It normally goes up in this time of the year. Yeah, well, it's going to be a lean Christmas, right? Let's see. Of course, reading a book is wonderful, but some just can't. Okay, Sasquatch, I will think about an audiobook, but my book, as I said, is a little difficult to turn into an audiobook. It's like, I have graphs, I have case studies, it's a bit there's a test. I have a psychology test, politic test in my book. How can I conduct that in an audiobook? I don't know. I have to look into it. Could you support Bill C-17? It's to ban the word Merry Christmas because it's triggering and racist. What? Okay. I don't know. I heard of that. I'm not sure if he's serious.
I mean, I don't know what Bill C-17 is, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither. Okay, so that's it with the questions for now. So we can get to the first article. All right, so hang on. Let me just have to put on glasses to see this. All right, so I have just two articles today. Two articles are kind of connected in a way that we will talk about the same thing. However, our first article is from oil price. Sorry, can't talk today. Our first article is from oilprice.com. Saudi Arabia's energy minister blames speculators for oil price plunge. Okay. The recent dramatic decline in oil prices has seen both Brent and WTI fall by more than $10, suggesting a significant shift in sentiment. I wonder what that is. Saudi Arabia's energy minister has said that it is oil speculators that are behind the most recent drop in oil prices, claiming they have been misreading oil markets. Okay, that's very kindly put, Saudi Arabia, very kindly put. Saudi Arabia's recent decision to extend its production cuts through the end of the year and keep the price of Arab light exports to Asia unchanged, sparked demand concerns. Demand concerns. Okay, so Saudi Arabia is blaming speculators. Okay, all right, so Saudi Arabia knows that energy prices, oil prices, are manipulated by the US. They know this because they're suffering from it. The economy is suffering from it until the summer, right? Remember the demand destruction until the summer. That was the narrative, right? All this demand destruction, there's all this supply, blah blah blah, and they talked about this until the summer ended. The narrative was there was all this demand destruction, blah blah, and then in September, I think, or it could be October last month, they suddenly said, oh, actually, we had all-time highs in demand, right? Now they're manipulating prices down again, and now they're talking about this miracle supply, right? We'll get into this in the next article. But we have the situation in the Middle East. We talk about this a lot. I don't want to get to it too much unless maybe Neo Retro has something to add, but the entire fleet, the Atlantic fleet of the US is there. So Israel can, do their Geno on site on a specific group of people. And they're there, and the US fleet being there is a giant bluff, which I've been talking about. The US cannot fight and win another war in the Middle East. They're bankrupt, the military is incapable, and but we have rockets, we have weapons. Yeah, so does Iran. So does Hezbollah. The only thing is that all these Arab neighbors that were so concerned and so threatening about Israel's moves, they're not doing shit. They're not doing anything. They're just watching. Even Turkey came out, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. If you pass this red line, yep, all red lines have been crossed. So my question to you, Saudi Arabia, you're so blaming speculators. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it, Saudi Arabia? What can you do about it? For example, an oil embargo? Maybe that's what you could do. You could just embargo them. Didn't you embargo them because of Israel before? Cut further production till the end of the year. So
they're not going to embargo, right? They are quite happy partnering with Israel at this point, right? They don't really care, but they're not doing anything.
Exactly. Just shaking the fists into the air. Damn you, damn the speculators, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the economy is suffering. They're losing on oil, which is why they keep cutting and they extend their oil production cuts till the end of the year. Which we already talked about it on the newsletter, right? That they're going to do that. So my question is, what are you going to do about it? You ain't going to do shit. You're not doing anything. So you have to understand that these things have layers too. So this year, actually, Biden went to Saudi Arabia to get some more oil. And Saudi Arabia joined BRICS. OPEC joined BRICS. There was this big announcement that they're going to join BRICS. And my question here again is, why bother? Why bother? You're not going to do anything anyways. Why bother joining BRICS? You don't even name the speculators by name. Same with Korea. There was an article about South Korea. They found out that there is naked shorting happening in the markets. Yeah, but it's 8 or 10 big names. They said, yeah. I can tell you some of them. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. You mean the sock puppets of the US government doing naked shorting?
Bank of America.
Bank of America. All the too big to fail banks, right?
Do you that's the other thing, right? The United States keeps bailing out these banks, and they're doing massive market manipulation in global markets and literally stealing productivity and resources from third world and second world countries, and the United States government just bails them out whenever they mess up.
Yeah.
So it's like never ending like warfare almost on these countries, and these countries
On the world, yeah.
they don't do anything against it. They don't protect themselves against
Well,
it.
I
and it's just very sad to see.
I thought they're gonna do something, right? In the summer, there was like this big BRICS meeting, right? And then nothing happened. It was this big fart. And then now, we have this Gaza, this red line, the Arab Brotherhood, the return of the Ottoman Empire. And again, nothing, just farts. Just farts in the wind.
Like they even is this like organization that has all Islamic countries in it. Like what is it called? ICO or something?
Yeah.
Like this Islamic cooperation organization.
Yeah. There's multiple ones.
Not even them are doing anything about like the Gaza situation or the Uyghur situation in China, or like they're not doing. Nothing is happening, right? And it's like if we say that the Russia-Ukraine situation is a weakness for the West, like this situation in Gaza and Israel is like a massive weakness for the Muslim and BRICS world, in my opinion. It's just like
it exposes them and their weakness. The thing is that the thing that pisses me off the most is that right now it's like the right moment to do something, and they just don't. When you're fighting a big boss, like when you play Zelda, you fight Ganondorf or something, and you fight like what is it called, the demon dragon at the end. And then you see like these big red spots exposed on the body. Yeah, that's where you hit to defeat the enemy. And it's like glowing big red. The end boss has like this big red like zest there, which you have to hit. And they have multiple things that they could do. I'm not saying start a war or anything. That's one thing. But they could embargo. There's the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. There's this Arab organization. You're saying they can't. If there's commodity, the commodity exchanges are controlled by the West, like the COMOX, right? For example, in Britain, but Iran has their own. Iran, a member of the or the third biggest member of BRICS, has their own commodity exchange. Why don't use your own commodity exchange? Where's your BRICS currency? Right, so they have this BRICS currency that they announced. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Like this system, it's just the forex market. It's not backed by anything. You have to back it by something. I was reading into it a little bit. But there's so many things they could do and they just don't. And I'm not sure. Like, look, I'm not sure. Like, they disappointed me too many times.
I have a question for you. Sorry for interrupting you, but so do you think that this has to do more with China than them being weak? Perhaps these countries are looking for some kind of backing from China that China is not giving them, like some guarantee, something. Before they like start.
You mean why no one's doing anything is because of their big brothers?
Because I think that China is like the big brother of like if I would divide this into like a bipolar world, right? It would be like the West with America, and then the East, and even the Muslim world, everything is backed by China, like Russia, everything. The main player there is China.
No, you're on the right track. Like, the reason why Hezbollah, all these guys are not doing anything is because Russia tells them not to do something. Like, Russia and China are slow walking this.
Yeah, but could it be that because China culturally, they are always focused on long-term planning, right? So they are like very conservative in terms of strategy. So they are slow players compared to like Western culture.
So
right, they don't avoid risk. They like, it's just Chinese culture. Like they make 100-year plans. They avoid risk. They want to slowly build their empire.
Okay,
and then when they have a certain win, then they will strike. But could it be that like these countries are not getting the backing from China because China wants to kind of slow walk?
Yes. So the fact on the ground is that Russia and China are slow walking this. But why, explanation why could be, like you said, culturally they're playing the long game. So you have to understand that China and Russia are playing the long game because they actually think about the future. They think about the multipolar world. That's what they want, right? The US, the West, right? The US, they're not thinking long term. They're trying to hold on to power as much as they can, as long as they can. And then I was about to add another article for today where, you know, the national debt hit $1 trillion annually. You know, earlier, 6 months earlier than expected. Zero Hedge was writing an article about it. If you include the bonds, like some bond purchases, it's actually $1 trillion. On the books, it's still like 829 billion, but off the books, like the real number is like $1 trillion. Yeah, but it doesn't matter because everyone still uses the dollar. Wasn't it your great plan to de-dollarize the world? So now you have the opportunity, now you have the chance to, you know, give them a massive blow, and they just, I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
it's too early. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, but you
Like
have, but
yeah.
the opportunity, like an opportunity comes and you don't use it, you can't say it's too early.
Yeah.
If you have an opportunity to you know, fulfill your long-term goal, but if you can fulfill it like now, you know, if you can weaken something, if you can do something now, you would, right? And they just don't. Anyways, so I have not much more to say about this. Do you have anything else to add?
I mean, my point is more that it's like a big culture difference, and I would say this is like one of the positives and negatives of like the second faction, the second world coalition. Like they want certain win, they want certain victory, but the like the Western coalition that like we are. I mean, I say we because like we're in the West, like we're very risk oriented, right? So we either go down very bad, you know, or we have massive wins. Like it's like we're very risky culturally. So it's like we will go to war easily. We will like fight easily and do random sanctions here and there and just like go wild, go crazy. And they're like very like thoughtful and like long-term players.
Yeah.
And so this will
Definitely.
go either way. Like eventually I think it will be the Western world attacking first. Because China thinks like they can slowly rise and play the cards, but it's already starting that the Western world is attacking China.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
China is the
And
only reason why there's even talks about attacking Iran, because the main supplier for oil is for China is Iran. Iran
and
is like, it's like 90%. It's like insane. Like China is like almost the exclusive buyer of Iranian oil. So
and for example, like the West is like actually winning over India right now, right? Politically, and they're using like
no,
the Israel war
no,
to
they're
win over
not.
India
Yeah,
politically.
but India is in the way of China and Russia, because India refines Russian oil, and then sells it to the West. They want to make the
Yeah.
dollars, so that's why.
See that's my problem. Like they are fighting proxy wars between China, like defeating China, defeating India, taking over India basically politically, destroying Russia.
Yeah.
This Middle Eastern conflict. These are all proxy wars to weaken China's influence in globally.
Yeah, they just
So
let
the
it happen.
West already started the attack on China, and I think China is not doing enough yet to like counteract, right? But it's hard because they're alone basically, right? Like the West is still so big compared to them. Like they're by themselves. They're like industrious. Like the Chinese are amazing, right? But yeah, it's I hope it could just be peaceful, but it's sadly not possible.
Yeah. Okay, so we finished the first article, I guess, right? So let's just jump to the questions that we have, so we don't miss any here. Okay, do you think we will go into stagflation? We are already in stagflation. Don't you think if they lower rates, inflation will be gone, since interest rates are what's driving it? I think if they lower rates, what? So if they lower rates, inflation will be gone?
Okay, I understand what I know where he's coming from.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just
So,
trying to understand. Okay, yeah, tell me. Yeah.
like, if you have a high interest, like if you have a high debt society where everyone is running on debt, raising rates will actually cause a rise in prices, short term. So like you have to go either very high in rates so that people default on their loans, but if you don't go high enough, the rise in interest rates will actually cause a rise in prices as well.
Okay. Look.
So
Look. Sorry. Okay, you're missing the point of raising rates. So you're thinking, not you. Like I mean, user something here. Maybe you too. I don't know. You're thinking that raising rates alone lowers inflation. So that's why you're explaining, higher rates, borrowing is higher and then that causes more inflation, blah, blah, blah. Look, stop. The whole point, like incrementally raising rates and still being under the inflation rate does not lower inflation. Inflation is caused by the expansion of the money supply because that causes increased demand. You have to, if you have increased demand, you encourage spending over saving. Okay, so let's say you have an inflation rate of 10%, all right, and your interest rates are going up for entire year to 5%. So from 2% to 5%, for example. So you still have negative 5% rates. So it's still, you're still encouraged to borrow. And that's the point you're missing. Of course you're borrowing more and it causes more inflation. No, you don't understand the entire point. You need higher rates above the inflation rate. All right, so if the inflation is 10%, you need 10 or more percent of interest rates to be 10 or more percent, because that way you encourage saving over spending.
I 100% agree. Yeah.
Okay, and that's the point you're missing. You're just thinking it halfway through.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
like that's what I was saying, that it needs to go high enough for people to also default on their loans, right?
Yeah, that's what you mean by that. Exactly. You need interest rates to be above the inflation rate. This also shows you that this entire, like what the Fed does is just a show. It's just there to make you, to make you
like,
believing in tango.
But for example, like if you have a mortgage, right? A lot of people have variable interest rate, like dynamic interest rate mortgages. So their mortgage cost has gone up dramatically, sometimes even doubled just by this short rise in interest rate. And so what people do is like it's not high enough to sell for everyone yet, but they need to raise the rent. So rent has actually gone up hard. And this applies to factories, applies to cars, applies to houses. So it's like it's not actually solving the problem. Like actually things have gotten worse. Even in terms of housing and everything, things have gotten very expensive despite the interest rates going up, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not high up enough that people start all selling their houses.
Yeah, because everyone is because in real estate everyone is expecting rates to be cut. That's why the yield curve is uninverting too.
Like what's annoying me so much is like everyone's like, oh my god, like the housing market will crash, and like this is yes, it has to crash. Everything has to crash if you want to fix inflation. Everything has to crash, right? The stock market has to crash. Real estate has to crash. That is the point of raising rates and like fixing inflation. Like the prices have to go down, and prices go down if everything crashes. And then they're trying to, like, what is the logic behind fixing inflation but preventing things from crashing? So you're not actually fixing it, right?
The crashing you talk about is a symptom of lowering inflation, because the inflation is caused by the increase in money supply. So they have to stop spending. The source, you have to cut the source, and the source is government spending. The government spends money mainly on welfare, 70 to 80%, 70% plus is all on welfare. So you have to cut spending, and that's just politically not viable in a democracy.
And sorry, I have to read the new comment from Biskup, and he just made a comment. He said,
yeah,
That's a problem now with commercial buildings. The mortgage is way above rental income.
Yeah, which is why the commercial real estate is an absolute shit show, especially in places like Los Angeles. Yeah.
Yeah, and like they're destroying the economy without actually fixing the problem. So we're in this like middle thing, right?
Yeah. So he says stop spending, but also half of people net worth would cause saving. Okay. I'm in Norway. Biskopen. Okay.
Yeah, he's talking about.
Yeah.
I guess Norway has a similar problem. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so let's just move on to the second article. So it's just going to be more of, what we also talked about. Okay. I'm gonna get to your questions after we finish the article. All right. So this one is from Zero Hedge. Time for a generator. New warning says half of the US at risk of grid down this winter. Okay. I thought we have all this supply, huh? Okay. I thought we're swimming in energy. You're warning us of like power grids, and you have energy shortages, but I thought we're swimming in all this energy, all this oil. I see. I think you're lying again. Just like you did during until the summer. Until the summer narrative was demand destruction. Oh look, China's collapsing. China's collapsing. and then they came, and summer came, summer went, and then they admitted, oh, actually, we had the highest demand ever. Oopsie doop, sorry. Okay. But you meant it's like, I mean, I can't be the only one who sees this. Like I'm not like a genius or anything. Every time it would benefit the government, it just happens so that the entire narrative changes, and that narrative just happens to benefit the government in that moment. And then when they get what they want, they just admit that they were lying sometimes. And they're getting caught. And even if they're getting caught, people just don't, like, I don't know, they're just sitting around. They're just not doing anything. Like I'm asking you, like, what do you believe? Like, do you believe people on the ground working, reporting, that, hey, we have a shortage here, there's empty storage tanks? Like, do you believe them? Or do you believe the people who are constantly lying to you, have been caught lying multiple times, but now they're not lying? Like, which one is it? Right? So the answer to that should be quite obvious. So I'm just so look, I'm getting like these messages too, right? By some of you. Like I talked about this the last few times as well. But like you have somebody, okay, talks to you like somebody virtuous that through virtue tries to look at the situation objectively and tries to make sense of the things happening. And I try to put myself in the shoes of those people, and I have to assume that they act in their own self-interest and that they act smart. I have to assume that, and then I can somewhat make not a prediction, but somehow tell you in what general direction things are going, so you can prepare for your own life. Of even those things you don't have control over those things, but they affect your life personally to some degree, and if you know the general direction of things going, you can prepare. But then they do something completely unexpected, something that does not benefit them in the long run, that is really stupid actually in the long run, manipulating energy prices, commodity prices, especially crucial commodities like energy, which is your life source. It's the life source of an economy, is really, really dumb. Really, really dumb. And they cannot do this for much, much longer. I don't know how long, I don't know. I can't predict the future. But yeah, it's going to cause shortages. It's going to cause real problems, and people are going to die. Okay? So
So
they're playing with people's lives. Sorry. So, okay? So we have the government manipulating energy prices, commodity prices, all right, down to hell, naked shorting natural gas, okay? I think someone joined or rejoined. Natural
oh,
gas,
and
was it you?
El Nino.
Ah, okay. Wait, let me just finish this point. And we got the entire Middle East and nobody doing anything about this. All right? So if just one of these things wasn't true, okay, we would have made so much money. But, but it's not. They're doing something unexpected. They, just like I said, manipulating markets down. BRICS isn't doing anything. Everyone just lets them get away with everything, and not doing anything. And then, oh look, you're wrong. I should have invested into Bitcoin. You should have invested into Bitcoin. Yeah, no, I'm not going to invest into a token that doesn't do anything. Anyways,
Bitcoin is just like pumping Bitcoin is just a new way of doing stimulus checks. So
yeah. Anyways, like I said, like all these tech, like the entire tech sector, it's in all-time highs, but these companies are losing value. Like the evaluation are at all-time highs, but they're losing money at the same time. Like, and you investing to that, like you think that's a good idea during stagflation, yeah, go ahead. But please just leave me alone. Look, again, I'm not saying you can't make money with those things in the short run, especially. I'm not saying, I can't predict. I'm not saying I can't predict the future. I'm just telling you what I think could happen, and where things are going in a general direction. But like logic, and like economically, I know what I'm talking about. When it comes to economics, I'm spot on, and I can tell you exactly how the effects will be, what will happen. However, it's very hard if you put geopolitics into play, because geopolitics is about people, about countries. Sometimes people do unexpected stuff. Sometimes people act irrationally out of fear, right? So I can't predict that. So it's incredibly unfair to sit there and like, oh, you just, because the number goes down, like, look, the investment number goes down, that's why you're wrong. Look, my chart shows me that. Yeah, right. Anyways, do you have anything to add? Anything. Anyway, sorry. So before we continue, so El Nino is here. He says about. Okay, so his volume might be messed up.
he says he doesn't have a mic.
Oh, he doesn't have a mic. Okay, all right. Maybe next time. I can't talk. No mic. Okay, just gonna listen in. Okay, but anyways, let me read what he says. So he says, "I invest in crypto. Thing is, why would BlackRock be interested then? I think the thing with Bitcoin and crypto is different from the norm, and there are so many scam coins, which means people avoid the space." Yeah, look, you can invest into Bitcoin or whatever you want, right? But I hear this argument often, like, oh, Bitcoin is different, but Bitcoin is not different. Bitcoin is not different than any other token or coins. It's not backed by anything. It just goes up pure by speculation. And then your question, like, why would BlackRock be interested in it? Then, well, that's how they launder their money. Like that's what these Bitcoin millionaires do. They pump Bitcoin, so their fans, they actually use their fans, buy it, and then they sell. So why wouldn't BlackRock do that too, right?
I have to add here too, like BlackRock is a massive company with a lot of products, right? It's not like BlackRock offers ETFs for pretty much everything. And so it's no surprise that they might also offer Bitcoin, because at the end of the day, that's how they make money. And if people have interest in buying Bitcoins, ETFs, like why not just offer it, right? It's not like they believe that Bitcoin is like the messiah of currencies. It might just be that they're like, this is like one way to suck people off of their money. So let's just offer like an ETF or something. It doesn't seem too out of this world, and it doesn't have to mean that they are like fully behind Bitcoin. If that makes, like, they have gold ETFs, they have oil ETFs. Like, doesn't mean that they believe in gold and oil, right? It's not really like they have ETFs for everything, right? So why not also Bitcoin?
Yeah, exactly. And then like, I don't know, but what happened to NFTs then, right? Like like Beanie Babies in the 90s, right? Beanie Babies were a thing. Like and then like now the retro video game market is actually crashing, right? Like there's always some shit. Like people try to flip all types of stuff, and there's always a hype. There's always something, and look, I can't predict the future. I don't know. I just know when the dust settles, when everything is done, Bitcoin is going to be worth nothing because it never was worth anything. But between now and then, Bitcoin could go to 100K. Bitcoin could go to 1 million. For what I know, I don't know. It's going to be a roller coaster ride. You can potentially make lots of money. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you shouldn't invest into it. I don't, but you can, and you can possibly make lots of money. But it's just what it is.
And like, I find it so ridiculous arguing with people like the crypto crowd is, I have a silver, like I have a silver, I have a silver chain right now around my arm, and it's a real object that is produced that I have. I can keep onto it forever.
Yeah, I have a
And
gold. I got a gold plated Zippo lighter in my hand right now.
right, these are real objects that someone has to produce and that they have to be put. So, for example, if production of gold and silver stops today, then the prices of these commodities would infinitely go up, right? Whereas for crypto, like it really is all about, do people care about it? What's the sentiment and all this stuff. Whereas for actual commodities, it's about the use case, availability, and stuff. So sure, you can be like, well, gold isn't going up, like, and Bitcoin is 500%. Sure, you can do that, but let's look at it 20 years from now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 20 years from now,
no,
who
it's
knows?
just
Like, everyone will have forgotten like all these crypto coins. People will still be wearing gold. Will still be putting gold in their computers. People will still use silver to produce stuff. We use silver in medicine and stuff. So this is like ridiculous, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is like, and he says, right, like speculative asset class, yes, agree. So do you feel everything in crypto is eventually going to zero? So, like, no, I don't think so. Like, not zero, per se. Like, there is definitely a market for it. The blockchain itself is useful. It's a digital ledger, right? So, like, if you own a house and instead of going to like a ledger, right? Now you have like a digital ledger. It's a bit more effective. It takes resources to maintain it. And there's definitely a market for it, and I think there will always be a market for it. But not $36,000. Okay, like So yeah. Yeah, I had this guy like 2 years ago, when this big Bitcoin thing happened. Like you guys know. I actually called it almost on the spot. I said, guys, like you guys should sell your Bitcoins and shit now. I'm getting out of Tesla stocks. That was it 2019 or something, I don't know, at the end. And then 3 weeks later, Bitcoin, I was like, I got like over 100 like thousand comments or something, like oh you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about, I'm gonna be rich, you're gonna clean my shoes. And then 3 weeks later, yeah, it just that's when Bitcoin crashed, right, until like 10,000 again or something within like a few months. And yeah, and Tesla never recovered to those levels. So yeah, like I don't know, like like you guys do you.
I mean, to be honest, like even Tesla has a better like it makes it's much smarter to invest in Tesla and Bitcoin. Like I'm sorry to say that, right? Like Tesla's an actual company. They develop AI cars. They have like the biggest market share in EVs. So it's actually like a company that produces something and has
Yeah.
potential for change and growth. And there's something underneath that stock. But
Yeah.
for Bitcoin, there's literally nothing except for laundering money. Just
Yeah, I know.
so like rich people use it, and maybe that's why Bitcoin will always be like available.
Yeah.
And like maybe Bitcoin will always be in use in some form because it's just perfect for like laundering. Rich people will use it forever to send stuff around without like avoiding government detection.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so
as
we have to get
asset,
to. Sorry, I don't
yeah,
want to cut you off. But we have to get to the chat. So we finished the second article. It was just two articles today. We talked about, like, I don't know if you have something you want to share. Maybe we can go over it again. But I'm really happy that El Nino and Neo Retro are here again. You guys are following me and you are on my Discord since the beginning. So I just want to show you guys my gratitude. I don't know how to show you else, but with kind words. I really, really thank you that you guys are here. We're the OGs, he says. That's right. Maybe next time he has a mic. But yeah, you guys are the
yeah.
OGs. Yeah. So I really want to thank you for that. But we have to get to the chats, okay? All right. So let me just read the chats from TikTok. So 7 Foot Daddy joined. Welcome. How are you? Thank you for the likes. Okay. So you guys have to be really careful what you write because I don't see your comments if it goes against the TikTok guidelines. Like, look, I personally don't care what you believe in or what you do or what you write. I couldn't give less of a shit. I'm for free speech, no matter what it is. But yeah, TikTok will delete your account. Will delete your comment. It's not me deleting it, so I won't see it. Okay. All right. So Biscopen says that's a big problem now with commercial building. Okay, we went through that. Stop spending. I'm not. Okay. The loss of people net worth during a crash. Okay. Well, we talked about this. Thank you for the paper crane. Thank you for the gift. Okay. Just one question actually. So DGOGT says, big fan. What's your intake about the EZB strategy? You mean the what is EZB? European
Oh, European Central
Central
Bank.
Bank? Like, are you German? Like the ECB?
Yeah,
You mean the European
yeah,
Central
he's
Bank?
probably German.
But but he's probably German. Okay, what is their strategy? Yeah, he says European Central Bank. So it doesn't matter if it's Japan or Europe. They just like either they are a testing ground for what the US will do next. There was something I talked about last year. It was about the English central bank, I think cutting rates or something, and that was like I said this will be a prequel. That's it's basically a tease trailer to what will happen in the U.S. So they test run these things, like a very good example of test runs, right? So now this is conspiracy theory territory, but look up what happened in Cyprus with the bail-ins of the bank, not the bailouts, the bail-ins, where people couldn't withdraw their money anymore. So those are test runs before they implement their bullshit on us in their country. Okay, so the European Central Bank is not doing anything different than what the US does. And if what the US does, not if, what the US central bank does is it's in a corner. They can't raise rates, they can't lower them, they can't increase rates anymore. They paint themselves into a corner, and the ECB, the European Central Bank, is in the same has the same issue. They're just gonna print money, issue more bonds. They want to prevent the yields are still gonna go up. They're gonna to prevent bond markets to crash. They're probably gonna monetize their debt, or they're already doing it, but you know officially doing it, and it's gonna end the same way. So Europe is effed, the US is effed too, right? like all it takes is one event. Like all it takes is one event, which I can't predict, right? I thought the BRICS currency announcement in the summer will be that event. No, I got blue balled. I thought now maybe the Israel conflict, maybe the world's gonna do something. Nope, they're not. Just watching. So, right.
They're just preparing for the great rug pull. They're gonna get everyone on Bitcoin, and then the great rug pull will happen, and everyone's money will be eliminated, and then inflation will be fixed.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what's gonna happen, right? They're gonna default to the world. They're just gonna say, "Oh, we are $30 trillion in debt to you guys. Oopsie doops, you're not gonna get it back. Sorry." Just like what they did with France, right? In the Bretton Woods system, with who was it? Nixon? No, not Nixon. Or was Nixon? I'm not sure. Anyway, so basically they implemented the Bretton Woods system. So the U.S. went from a gold standard to a Bretton Woods system. And when France wanted their gold back, Fort Knox was empty, and they just said, "Nope, sorry guys, you're not gonna get your shit back. Sorry, you just have to accept this new system, this new better system, our fiat system." So the critical point here to understand is that only worked because there was no alternative. Europe went on that train, the Bretton Woods system. They went on that train because there was no other alternative in the world. So if they want to do this again, right? So we are at the end of the long-term debt cycle, right? At the Great Reset, right? If they want to do this again, but there is an alternative, well then their plans are not going to work, and you will see the US becoming, like, moving from falling from being a global superpower to just a superpower, maybe power only, right? So yeah. Anyway, so El Nino wants to talk about something. Let's talk about the metals: platinum, palladium, lithium, rhodium. Massive sell-off I've been accumulating. Yeah, I read the metals are cyclical. No, they're just manipulated. I was just watching a podcast on YouTube today. Not oil. Like all central banks in the entire world are buying gold, and gold didn't move. Gold went down. Okay, just like with oil, just like with the entire commodity market, they're manipulating gold forever since before we were born, right? And gold should be at 30, like 3,500 now. Like it should almost be double what it is right now. Because the gold and national debt actually moves on par with each other with a 92% accuracy. But now it doesn't, right? So the debt increased so much, like $600 billion in 1 month in September, and gold went down, right? So it should be if you put it like on par with the same accuracy, if you measure it with the debt, it should be at $3,500 right now, but it's not. Of course, there's other commodities. I personally don't know about platinum, palladium, lithium. I don't know personally about these, but gold is for sure manipulated 100%. But there's some less manipulated commodities like agriculture, for example. Like agriculture has been very stable, and then there's some less manipulated commodities that also went up, like orange juice. And the reason for why orange juice went up so much is because of the hurricanes in Florida. So the hurricane sweeps through these fields, destroy a lot of oranges, and then that goes up. So,
and also like the natural enemy of fiat is commodities, right? If it was the case that cryptocurrencies are going to destroy the fiat currencies, then you would see them losing value as Bitcoin stuff goes up. But it's like quite the opposite actually. Like the US dollar is losing influence if commodities go up.
Yeah, and he said agriculture prices are going up because of inflation. Yeah, but like I talked about that in my first book, A Guide to Almost Foolproof Investing, I talk about the supply chain, right? Like of inflation. I did talk about it a long time on my videos, but basically, when you print money, and like, so there's two ways of causing inflation. Like inflation is not just inflation. Like general inflation is caused with giving money to people directly, like via stimmy checks and so on. And there's asset inflation, which is caused by quantitative easing. There's a difference between them and how they manifest. But when you have inflation running through the economy, you will see it on your charts like 1.5-ish years later. You will really see it hit. And it starts with, of course, like commodities, especially energy going up, and then as a result of that agriculture goes up. Like I made an example, with potato chips. So you're growing potatoes, okay, but when your energy costs go up first, right, then the cost of producing your agricultural products will go up later as a result of that. So that's why agriculture was like a lag, and then agriculture went up too with the inflation. So yeah, you're 100% right about what you say. And then he says, massive bull run is coming. IMO, market crash 2028. I'm not sure, man. Like market crash anytime. Actually, I don't know.
Like my thing is, sorry, I don't want to interrupt, right?
No, please
But
go.
the point I was trying to get to is the end of the US dollar and this like hegemony is closely tied to a market crash and the boom in commodities, right? So if gold and oil and stuff goes up 2, 3, 4 times, like that is a massive event, and the United States needs to prevent that, right? And that's how they keep the party going.
Yeah,
and
he said-
eventually the music will stop. Like it's like 2 a.m. right now. We don't like.
Yeah, but
It's gonna stop.
But El Nino is 100% right. So we talked about this before you came to the show. So he says, do you think it would crash under Biden? I doubt it. Yeah, no, it won't. But that's why you say probably 2028, because it, like when there was a market crash, it was always under Republican. Always.
And the thing is, like, Republicans are incompetent at governing in general, right? They don't get anything done anyway. So it's like they're not gonna be organized enough. Like the economy, high chance that Trump will win, and then the U.S. economy will crash. But I don't think they're competent enough to keep this music show going.
Like someone in the chat here is asking, hey Goldie, any thoughts on UNG? I just loaded up on more. Oh, John, you shouldn't have done that. I think, I don't know.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
Look,
we have World War III now, and then
look. The thing is, like, okay, like two things. Okay, so look, maybe they let a Republican win, like Trump. Maybe let Trump win, and then they crash everything, like you said. Yeah, that could be, and then they can take over, right? And they can maybe implement all the bullshit that they couldn't implement in 2020, 2019, right?
Trump is gonna.
Yeah, or maybe they're gonna assassinate him. I don't know. Like I don't know what. I don't know. And same with UNG. So the thing is, John, okay, there is nothing you can invest in at the moment. The stock market is like can crash anytime. It's propped up. Bond markets are ass. Commodity markets are the naked shorting UNG, the naked shorting natural gas using these too big to fail banks, which are on life support from the Fed. Right? Even Saudi Arabia, we talked about the article. I don't know if you were here and heard it. Even Saudi Arabia is crypto. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about crypto. If you want to hold cash, even cash, you have inflation, right? And then precious metals, they can just, seize your precious metal, which is also manipulated. It's also a commodity. It's also manipulated to hell. And then they can just decide to seize your thing. So my fear, right, on quote unquote, is like heads I win, tails you lose. That's how the government operates. If they have a decision to make between cheating and collapsing, they're gonna pick cheating. All right. So the naked shorting, I talked about this. This is actually a really important thing. I talked about this on the newsletter. I even made a video about it. The naked shorting natural gas. If natural gas goes to about $4, okay, they're gonna get margin calls, and the entire financial system is at risk of collapsing because they're using these like Goldman Sachs banks, sized banks, right? Basically, the Fed directly, basically, behind it to manipulate these markets. So when that happens, right, you have to think that's also the reason why they're talking about Iranian cyber attacks. I tell you why they talk about it, because there's a risk. Yeah, I know you're laughing because you know where this is going. They're suddenly talking about it, because don't you know Iran is well known for their cyber attack capabilities,
Yeah.
So when that happens and they fuck up, eventually they will, yeah, and this actually happens, and this is actually true. Look, I don't have a way to verify this, all right. I talked about it on my newsletter. I gave you the sources, people from the industry, but it makes sense. It makes absolute sense. So if they're at the point where natural gas actually hits $4, and then because Saudi Arabia suddenly grows a pair, and OPEC grows a pair of balls and embargoes the West, or they stop Israel from what they're doing right now, or if a BRICS currency is announced, right? There's so many possibilities of things that could happen that people could do to stop this, but they just fucking don't. All right? If any of these things would happen, and then they're like, oh shit, no, we can't manipulate it, and they could short it further down, and then they get margin calls, and the entire financial system collapses, they're just gonna say, oops, Iranian cyber attack, oopsie doopsie, guys, and then you just lost all your investments that you made. And you can thank the US government for stealing all your money.
Like, I have to say, like, I work in cybersecurity, and it's like this idea that you just do these like cybersecurity attacks, and like this is such bullshit, like most companies have like robust security infrastructure, and there's just like the most effective attack is social engineering. So you manipulate people to get in passwords and stuff, and then you do a DDoS, right? There's this new technique called HTTP2 rapid reset, which is like you can make like almost like a billion requests per second to like overload servers. But then other than that, like there's no other way. Like I don't understand what other way they have, right? Like normally robust structure. Like it's all like if they talk about like either it's negligence or they do it on purpose, right?
They're going to go. Oh, sorry, I can't talk today. I was like, to go. No, don't you know they're going into the COMEX commodities exchange, like Durka, and then they just plug in a USB stick, and then just like the entire system comes down, and that's what they do.
I mean, maybe someone on the inside is like providing information to the Iranian government, like they have a spy on the inside. Like maybe that's what's happening. But if that's not the case, like if like a security engineer on the inside doesn't give Iran information, like I don't know how that's possible, So I mean, this is just like ridiculous. Like if something happens, it's probably by the FBI or something, and not the Iranian government.
Yeah, no, so. Like look, like just to finish my point, there's nothing you can do. So you're probably better off if you sell your natural gas for whatever it's worth this winter, and put your money into a money market account or something that pays you at least like 4% or something interest. Like 4%. I know you're not gonna beat inflation, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to give advice on TikTok.
Sorry?
It's hard to give advice on TikTok, so I think people should just do like.
I'm not giving advice. I'm not giving advice. Like, okay, this is not any advice to you. I'm just telling you what I think. What I'm like, I'm at the situation, like I'm tired of holding this back. Basically, my entire gains of 2022 are gone. Basically, so I have like 1 year of like this is like the first year that I'm like in the minus. Like it's okay, it's not too bad. Like and I'm not talking about all my commodities. I'm not talking about my broad commodities. They make me money. I get dividends from them. I'm just talking about natural gas. But like luckily for myself, I didn't invest money that I needed. I have money. I have enough cash, which is why I'm personally debating. Like if I sell for a loss, and make money, at least next year, have some 5% plus, or just hold this back for longer because next year the manipulation is going to get worse. Next year is an election year. El Nino is talking about it. It's gonna get worse. This is not gonna get better. And you have to think about Biden has still an entire year of the strategic petroleum reserve that he can drain to keep energy prices manipulated down. Oil prices, right? Like energy, I say energy price because they're connected, right? So yeah, they're gonna use like all the propaganda, all the bullshit. It's just gonna be cranked up to 10, and yeah, it's gonna get worse. So, but or maybe maybe something happens. I don't know. Maybe there's a maybe suddenly someone is like, yeah, f this shit, and yeah, we're gonna embargo the West, or like someone actually does something, maybe, right? Maybe because it seems like everything the opposite of what I'm trying to see is happening. So who knows? And then you're gonna become a millionaire next year, right? But it's just speculation at this point. There's no like you should work with fundamentals. You will win in the long run. The laws of economics never change. The laws of economics will win in the long run. You can't just make up a price and manipulate prices down forever without severe consequences. So eventually, I'll be vindicated. You'll be vindicated, John. We're all going to be vindicated. But I just can't tell you when that will be. I just can't. So. Wait, so there's some more questions here. So crypto will fall along with traditional markets. Yeah, for sure, of course. Like if you think about a market crash, yeah, crypto is gonna fall too. It's like crypto is not just a speculative asset; it's the speculative asset, right? And if you want to categorize it into a sector, if you read my books and you want to categorize it, it's a tech sector, right?
And the entire stock market is going to be swallowed up by none other than GameStop. That's the end game.
Yeah. What's a ticker symbol for the money market? So that's not a ticker. So if you're from the US, there's also options in Germany. So some sorry, my brain just farted. So you can check out a credit union or money market, and you can open a money market account or open an account with a credit union, and they give good percentages. I've seen some that give like 4 or 5%, but that's very like you have to look that up yourself. There is credit unions for veterans. There's credit unions for doctors. There's like you have to be part of something, and they give good percentages. And also in Germany, so I've like an investment account in Germany as well. They cranking up just holding your money in a stock, like a not the exchange, like just a platform, right? Like Ameritrade. It's not Ameritrade. It's like Ameritrade. They give you percentages just for having your money in there. There's a ticker. It's a company. It's from Vanguard. Just type in Vanguard high interest account, and I think you need $50,000 or more, and they give 4 or 5%. Yeah, so you have to do your own research and find out. But look,
There's
again,
also
yeah,
certain gold miners that pay, like gold mine ETFs and stuff, to pay really good dividends.
yeah,
which
but
is almost
yeah,
interesting.
but then you have but then I'm saying, then you're in stocks, and if just, there's a big risk the stock market might crash
Yeah.
like anytime now, right? It's just propped up. So like you can't be in stocks, you can't be in commodities, you can't have gold, you're just gonna seize it. You can't hold cash. Like what are we gonna do? Like at least I don't know. Real estate in Germany, your outlook. Look, my outlook is to get the hell out of here. I'm still in Germany for longer than I thought, but I'm gonna let you guys know. Hopefully soon. My plans are solidifying slowly. It just took a bit of time. But I'll let you guys know what I'm gonna do. So my solution is to leave. Of course, wherever you are, another solution. Look, I had the option to think about. I had two options, right? So one, I buy a property, have chickens, grow my own shit, try to be as reliant on myself as possible, and pay off that property, and just be far away from everyone, right? So you can, if you're in Canada, if you're in the US, go to like a low populated, like you have to get out of the cities for sure. Cities are going to be a not good, not good. It's gonna make it in the cities. So that was one option for me. Or the other option for me was to just leave. To leave to another. So I hold multiple passports already. So if you have the chance, you have family in another country, check out if you have the chance to obtain a passport or at least a visa, and check out other places. So that was just a better option for myself to decide to leave the West. So now you're gonna ask me, oh, which country, and I'll tell you, I'll let you know once that's very personal, but I found a place for myself that suits my needs the best, and you have to do the same. Maybe your family's from the Philippines. Example, maybe it's best for you to go back to the Philippines. Go back where you come from, right? Literally, I mean it. That's what I would do if I were you. Or maybe you have connections to Mexico. Maybe you have family there, or you have a business there, or friends, or something. Like that's a decision that you have to make. But you have to do something, and you have to do something now. This is not gonna end well, and there's no way of telling how much longer this can last. So
What I would do if I was from a third or second world country, I would buy property there, because like property is always a good investment, because then you can have, like, if you have 2-3 homes somewhere else, and you can rent them out, and then you can live in one of them, and then as those countries go up in wealth, right, your property value will go up relatively. So it's actually one of the best investments. It's like buying in a shitty neighborhood that will be like rich in the future.
yeah. So Mr. T says, brother, the stock market isn't going to crash anytime soon. Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think so anytime soon. It could, right? Like, anything could happen, but not under a Democrat, not with this money printing and this propped up everything.
It's good.
Yeah.
Like it gives us more time to act, right? So this is actually a good thing. Like, it should not crash yet, and then everyone has time to act and readjust their portfolio. So this is a good thing for now, I think.
That's exactly why I want to talk about it. So yeah, I agree with JT. And then we got real estate in Germany. Talk about crypto chain pay. Hey, you can join the chat too. Citibank is paying above 5% for CDS. Yeah, but for CDs, yeah, but you have to hold them for a certain time, right? It's like a bond. It's like it's like a corporate bond or something. Like I don't know. Like you have to make the decision, right? Like if you're holding the back in commodities or something, or anything, like do you want to run the risk and invest into stocks propped up, take the risk. Bitcoin went up, right? Tech went up, right? So you could make money, but you could also lose everything if things crash. If the rug pull happens, now you effed, you totally effed. So would you maybe not take the risk and just put in a money market account or CDs maybe. But the whole point of why I'm suggesting, if you hold cash, why I'm suggesting money market accounts or credit unions is because it's liquid. CDs are not liquid. You want liquid. You want your money to be liquid. You want to be able to take it out anytime. So when there's actually a crash, when there's actually an opportunity for you to invest, or something happens and commodities that go up again, then you can invest. But if you hold a CD, if you hold a bond or something, you just can't do that, and I don't think that's a good idea. Again, don't take
Yeah.
financial advice from people from the internet, from strangers from the internet, but yeah, that's just what I would do.
And we could talk about the best investment, which is yourself, right? The best investment. That's people forget that all the time, but go study, eat well, go to the gym, take
Yeah.
care of your body.
Yeah, of course, that's
make
what you should do first. Of
Right, that's
course.
the first. That's the first investment you should have, and then if you have something left over, then you can invest in stocks and other stuff. But please make sure that you are that you are doing good and well, and that you can think straight, because there's so many things that
Yeah,
like
don't do
the world
drugs,
of
kids.
TikTok and everything, that people don't notice how uh, convoluted, like how polluted their mind is. Like they don't realize. Maybe at this experience when you went into nature for 1 or 2 days, you just felt like so free and open, and you were able to think again. And so like just take a step back, make sure you can think, and then figure stuff out from there. Right? That's very important. Like think.
So Mahmoud is asking, any recent signs that the market is cracking from all the government manipulation? Yeah, what is happening right now in with Israel? So I was like, hey, wow, now suddenly all these Arab brothers who stand up for their Muslim brothers, they might do something, but nope, they don't.
Is that what we're going to talk about next? Israel,
No,
Palestine.
no, we talked about it. So we were talking about it already. You came a bit late, man. Sorry. But look, you can rewatch this show again on YouTube. I'm gonna upload it on Tuesday though, because TikTok takes so much time to process it, and then I have to download it, upload it. It just takes so much time. I can't even access it until like Tuesday,
The only
possibly
truth that I
Wednesday.
have about Israel Palestine, this is like I'm very biased. It's like, okay, Israel at this point doesn't care about Palestinians, but the Arab nations also don't care about the Palestinians.
Yeah,
The Palestinian refugees in the Arab countries, they also live under apartheid. They're second-class citizens, and no one cares about Palestinians. Okay? And so,
unfortunately.
like, you have to understand that, right? And sure, you can single Israel, but it's not like Jordan and I mean, Jordan is pretty good, but it's not like Saudi or anyone cares about them. And the fact is, Gaza and the West Bank was for 20 years under Egyptian and Jordan rule. So West Bank was under Jordan rule, and Egypt was under Gaza was under Egypt rule. And back then they didn't even give them a country. And now that they're refugees in the countries, they don't even have rights. So no one cares about Palestinians in that region, and it's very sad. But that's the truth. And so, like, looking at Saudi or looking at Egypt and hoping for them to help Palestine, that's not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
They don't care. Palestine is a vehicle to drive some conflict for them. They want to keep them there so they can like have something to bitch about with Israel, and
Yeah, but then they shoot
everyone
down. But they shoot down
keeping it
rockets
going.
from Yemen, right? Saudi Arabia shoots down rockets from Yemen, right?
Yeah,
Because they want to stay
everyone is
neutral.
perfectly happy to keep the situation as is, to basically use.
Yeah, Qatar is taking down the Palestinian flag. Yeah,
And the
that's
truth
your
is, the
brotherhood.
people, the journalists around it, who talk about a one-state solution like elimination of Israel, they're also just using Palestinians, because a one-state solution is an unachievable goal, right? So they're using Palestinian lives to make careers in media, go there and act like they're in a war zone, and then have drinks in a nightclub in Tel Aviv, right? This is like a whole shit show, like a Truman Show, where everyone is trampling on the lives of Palestinians, and it's horrible to watch, but it's just nothing you can do about it but just stay out, because there's no right or wrong. Like, it's just fucked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Look, I don't have a dog in this fight. I said this before. I'm like, I talked about this before. I'm not taking any sides. I'm for peace. It's not a football game, it's not a soccer game, where you pick a team, and the entire world is dragged into this, to like we have to pick a team, come on, just anyway. So let's not ignore El Nino. El Nino is also here still, but he has no mic, so let's just read his comments. So he says he had a look at natural gas. It's worth a position at $6 or above. So provide natural gas as a future. Yeah, look, yeah, of course. Like, look, I'm not talking about like insane amounts. Like, I don't need natural gas to go up in insane amount to make money. Like, I'm just talking about like 7. Like, if it just goes up to 7, that would be sufficient for me. But yeah, but it's it's just manipulated to hell. And then El Nino also says about this Palestinian conflict. He says, yeah, they don't care. It's true, Egypt didn't want to open their borders. No, they never did, they never will. So there you go. So just like Neo Retro said, no one cares about them. It's sad about innocent people. I'm very sad about the children. I saw lots of videos. What will happen to all these kids, right? They didn't do anything. They're just born and...
Yeah, like yesterday, I was very, very moved. Like I saw this video of the girl, and she had her legs blown off, and it was she was like 8 years old. It was horrible to see. And,
yeah.
Like I cried, I couldn't hold it in.
You cried?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's sad. Yeah, it's sad. So, but yeah. So Dima Josh says they killed 1,000 enemies and created hundreds of millions of enemies. You mean? Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Like, yeah, look, there's no way Israel will survive this in the long run, right? Even if they exile all the Palestinians and they're sent to Europe as refugees, right? Or they go to Egypt or in the Sinai to live in these camps. Like you say, Dima, all these Arab countries surrounding Israel will never forget that the fact, like, that the Gino and Zaid sided, this group of people, so they will never forget. So in the long run, yeah, I don't see a way where they will survive. But anyway, so this was a bit longer than I thought. Let me just so my sponsors, of course, are myself and you guys, of course. Like, thank you very much. You being on Discord, you reading my newsletter. Please, everyone here, check it out. The link is in my bio. I set it up to a 1-week free trial. These guys are on it too, and we discuss like all my videos are just paragraphs from my actual newsletter. So why not read the whole thing daily? Link in the bio. And of course, if you want, read my books here. I'm not sure about El Nino, but Neo Retro read both my books, and left a really nice comment too, and is here with me right now. You can join the show too through Discord. Just let me know. Join like today, free trial. Let me know if you want to be part of the show. We can set it up every Saturday 7 p.m. if nothing comes in between. And yeah, check out the link in my bio. Find my books, my newsletter, and I actually have a new thing. Actually, you were talking about your job, Neo Retro, but I'm actually also making. I'm trying this new thing, right? Like, I helped a few people get a very good position, like a job, with mock interviews. So what I'm doing is I help you with your resume, and I interview you just as the job you're applying for would. So I prepare you for an interview. The more time we have before the job, the better. But like, the people I helped mostly, like, except Neo Retro, are mostly people who have English as a second language, or they're applying for international jobs, or they don't have much not much confidence. They have fears, right, to talk and speak. And I really try to help them with exactly that. So My mock interviews are available. You can just pick a time slot yourself. Also link in the bio. So yeah, so that's it. Do you have anything else to add before we end this show, Neo?
Um, just, work on yourself, go to the gym, build a portfolio of things you're proud of so that you have confidence, right? You have to do things to be proud of yourself. So do that. And then you can be like, you can look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm tough. I'm a cool G,
You mean
And then things
you're proud of
easy.
yourself, basically.
You're proud of yourself, but back it up, right? Because if you're a fraud, right? Like,
Yeah, be
work hard,
honest
like, for
with
example,
yourself. You have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, because like if you're not if you gaslight yourself into being proud, then your brain knows, and then you're sensitive because like, oh my god, people are gonna find out I'm not, So like work hard, for example, like you can work 10 hours a day on something, and then you can be like, I'm good because I work 10 hours a day. Like you have to have something that you're proud of that backs up your confidence at first, right? And then slowly you get used to that position, and slowly you build up yourself. So start with it can be anything. Like maybe you go to the gym every day, and you're like, no, I'm someone who goes to the gym every day. That means I'm strong. Like I survive, or like I work every day, or I read every day, and you can use it as a base to like propel yourself. So start small, and build up your confidence, right? And then things will just get so much easier. People will like you more. You will be promoted at work. You will have more energy because you don't feel like crap, right? So start with something small and then build yourself up, and you will see how things fall in place. So just start.
Yeah.
It will be fine.
And start today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Yeah. So anyway, that's it. That's the show, guys. So Seven for Daddy says, great show, guys. I like dialogue part more like a podcast. Yeah, it helps me too. If I have a dialogue, I actually, it's just me alone in a room like a psychopath talking into, talking to myself. But if there's actually people here, to add stuff to the articles we talk about, it makes the show much better. Thank you so much for always joining. So do not miss any next show. So if you missed this show, don't worry. I'm going to upload it by Wednesday, right? Because TikTok just takes this long time to process the video, and then I can download it from TikTok and then upload it on YouTube. So it takes a bit of time. But we're here every Saturday, 7 p.m. This show was a bit different. We did it on Sunday, but I will make an announcement if there's any changes. And I will make an announcement, of course, on my newsletter too, right? On Discord. So, yeah. I see you on Discord. If you want to be part of the show, just let me know. Okay?
Yeah, let's talk after this too, Gordy. I have some more questions.
Yeah. And you can join the after show as well. So have a wonderful weekend. Rest of the day. I mean, the weekend's over. Good week ahead. And I see you guys next time.